On the night before Thanksgiving, 1971, a man in a business suit walked onto a commercial airplane, ordered a bourbon and soda, handed the flight attendant a note, and 45 minutes later, he jumped out of the plane at 10,000 feet in a rainstorm with $200,000 strapped to his body. He was never seen again. Not his body, not his parachute, not his real name. To this day, the FBI still doesn't know who he was. It was November 24th, 1971. Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305 was a short hop. Portland, Oregon to Seattle, Washington. 36 passengers boarded. One of them bought his ticket under the name Dan Cooper. Mid-30s, dark suit, black tie, sunglasses. Nothing about him stood out, and that was exactly the point. Once the plane was in the air, Cooper passed a note to flight attendant Florence Schaffner. She assumed it was a man hitting on her and slipped it into her pocket unread. He leaned over and said quietly, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." The note was simple. He wanted $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and a fuel truck waiting when they landed in Seattle. He opened his briefcase just enough to show her red cylinders and wires. Whether it was a real bomb was never confirmed, but nobody was willing to test it. The pilot radioed it in. On the ground, Northwest Orient's president approved the ransom immediately. Pay him, get the passengers home safe. The plane circled Seattle for nearly 2 hours while police assembled the cash. 21,000 individual bills, later revealed to be marked with serial numbers, though Cooper didn't know that. When Flight 305 landed, Cooper let all 36 passengers and 1 flight attendant go. He kept the pilot, co-pilot, flight engineer, and 1 attendant, Tina Mucklow, on board. The money and parachutes were delivered. Then he gave his next order: take off again, fly toward Mexico City, stay under 10,000 feet, keep the landing gear down, flaps at 15 degrees, slow, low. Specific instructions from a man who clearly understood aircraft. Somewhere over the dense forests of southwest Washington, in wind, rain, and near-freezing temperatures, Cooper ordered the crew to stay in the cockpit. He strapped the money to his body, opened the aft stairway of the 727, a feature unique to that aircraft, and at approximately 8:13 p.m., he jumped. He was wearing a business suit and loafers. No survival gear, no map. Into a storm, into the mountains, into the dark. He was never seen again. What followed was one of the largest manhunts in FBI history, codenamed Norjack for Northwest Hijacking. Hundreds of agents, military search teams, helicopters combing the forests of southwest Washington for weeks. They found nothing. No body, no parachute, no briefcase. The FBI investigated over 800 suspects over the following decades. None were ever confirmed. Some experts believed Cooper couldn't have survived the jump at all. The terrain, the weather, the fact that he jumped essentially blind into a wilderness at night. If he did die, his body was never recovered. Then, in 1980, 9 years later, an 8-year-old boy named Brian Ingram was digging in the sand along the Columbia River and found a decaying package of cash. FBI confirmed the serial numbers matched Cooper's ransom money exactly. $5,800 of it, still bundled, rotting in the riverbank. It reopened the case and it deepened the mystery. How did the money get there? Did Cooper survive the jump, bury it, and vanish into a new life? Did the money simply wash downstream from wherever he died? To this day, nobody knows. Over the decades, dozens of people have claimed, or been accused, of being D.B. Cooper. A media typo turned Dan Cooper into D.B. Cooper, and the nickname stuck forever. Some theories point to a former paratrooper. Others to a disgruntled airline employee who knew the 727 inside and out. None of it has ever been proven. In 2016, after 45 years, the FBI officially closed the case. Not because they solved it, because they ran out of leads. D.B. Cooper remains the only unsolved case of air piracy in American aviation history. Somewhere in the forests of the Pacific Northwest, there may be a skeleton nobody has ever found. Or somewhere in America, an old man who once jumped out of a plane with $200,000 might still be alive, having gotten away with the only unsolved skyjacking in U.S. history. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe. Every week I'm covering another mystery America never solved.